if you are at all looking in the direction of your screen right now, you can clearly see I'm about to break down Tatsuro Taira versus Royval. And even though the card, it's a Fight Night Apex card, so it's really hard to get excited for. This is an amazing fight. It's an amazing matchup. Royval recently said they would have fought on a pay-per-view, but I think he wanted a main event fight, which makes sense. I like that. He's fighting a grappler, so 5 rounds does benefit him more, gives him more of an opportunity to catch him, outpace him, you know, tire him out, outstrike him in some rounds. Lose a round here and there instead of, you know, just losing a round here and then losing the fight. He can lose a round here and there and then, you know, still win the fight. Tatsuro Taira is being picked by almost everybody that I'm seeing to win this fight. I don't understand why. I get that he's 16-0 and he's undefeated, but what have you seen really? Like, he was great against Alex Perez in his last fight, but he lost the first round. Like, he did take his back, and I think if he takes Royval's back in that manner, he will do some significant damage to him. But Pantoja couldn't submit Royval. You know what I mean? I think Royval's gone a lot better than he was back in the day. Like, he has losses to Pantoja and Morono back in the day. Like, finishes as well, but now he's going to split decisions with both of them. I actually thought he beat Morono 4 rounds to 1. I had him beating Morono rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think he's better. I mean, he's better than Morono, but I mean, I understand stylistically he could lose to Tatsuro Taira just because I think he's so easy to take down. Like, Pantoja took him down a lot of times, but he couldn't finish him anymore either. And the last time they fought, he submitted him. So I think Royval's improved a lot more than people are giving him credit for. I mean, he is the #1 ranked flyweight on the planet, like the #1 contender, coming off a win against the #2 guy on the planet. So yeah, I think people are just respecting Royval. While Tatsuro Taira, I think he has some slow strike. Like, he has very crisp striking, but it's not the most fast paced. Like, he can get out volumed. Like we saw against Morono versus Royval, where Royval would just outpace Morono and then be able to land the more strikes of the two. And that was as simple as that. And that's what the fight came down to. Royval did more on the feet. Morono was loading up, maybe landing the bigger shots here and there, but in the accumulation, I do think Royval won. I think something similar could happen here, unless Royval gets his back taken and then, you know, it could go bad from there. But I think he has improved enough to where he can stuff enough of Tatsuro Taira's, like, submission attempts and overall win the fight. I think Tatsuro Taira is 16-0, and that's why people are picking him so much. It's not how it works in the UFC. Tatsuro Taira has never fought anyone near the level of Royval. His best opponent was Alex Perez, who was beating him in the first round, and then his knee blew out. So, and I understand Tatsuro Taira was leaning back, making him fall back, and like, he's the one that was actually intentionally trying to cause that knee injury. But I think Royval won't be as bad as that. I do think Royval's a bit skinny, so it's easy to overpower him to the ground. Could be a problem, but I like the confidence of Royval. I like the way he fights. I like his style for this, especially in 5 rounds. And he can throw the knee up the middle. Like, if Tatsuro Taira is going to be aggressively going for takedowns, Royval's defense is honestly his striking. Like, he knocked out Mateus Nicolau, trying to attempt the same thing. So I think when Royval wins this fight, I want to get through this card real quick, so we're going to move on right now. The bet is Royval. I have $125 on him. I wish I waited to place this bet. I wasn't expecting the betting line to go the other way. I thought if anything, the betting line would close up because so many people would be like, oh, Royval's an underdog. Let's put some money on him. But no, apparently even more people are picking Tatsuro Taira now. Makes no sense. Anyway, Brad Tavares versus Yong Park. I'm going to tell you I'm going with. First of all, Brad Tavares, he has looked worse and worse in each of his fights. I know he beat Weidman, but Weidman had 1 foot and he kept leg kicking him over and over again. And recently he's coming off a loss as well. I'm expecting Yong Park to have good enough grappling to not let Brad Tavares just take him down and hold him down there. I think Brad Tavares' grappling is also like really good for takedown defense. I'm not sure how many takedowns Yong Park is going to go for, okay? I think on the feet he's better than Brad Tavares. I don't think Brad Tavares has anything special. I think he'll throw some leg kicks. I think Yong Park can eat a few leg kicks. Outstrike him on the feet, win the fight 2 rounds to 1. 29-28. That's going to be the prediction. And I think Yong Park is quite durable, so I'm not expecting a finish from Brad Tavares. I think the best thing that could happen here, if anything, I suspect Yong Park will chin Brad Tavares before he chins him. You know what I mean? Like Bruno Silva chinned Brad Tavares. I don't think his chin's fully there. I think Weidman has no power left. He has no testosterone left in his body. Brad Tavares got destroyed in his last fight against Gregory Rodriguez, I believe. So yeah, Yong Park's the pick. I wouldn't bet on this fight though. Anything can happen. I can see Brad Tavares holding him down. It's a weird sport. It's not one where I would put enough money on. And the fact that Yong Park is the favorite, you can maybe parlay him with someone, but I wouldn't really go for anything else. The pick is going to be Yong Park. Let's speed through some of these. Chidi Njokuani versus Gooden. This is a tough one to pick, to be honest, just because it's so... Chidi Njokuani is a little bit chinny in my opinion. I think his jaw is there to be hit. I think he could get hit. But if I had to pick between the two of these, I would pick him to be the more technical fighter of the two, you know what I mean? I think they both have power. Either can get chinned. It's close, like you could put money on Jared Gooden just because it's paying more, I suppose. This is not a fight where I would be like looking to put too much money on, even though I do think Chidi's probably gonna win. And this is the thing, right? With the fighters, I do think Chidi is probably the more technical of the two fighters. Jared Gooden, on the other hand, even though he's sloppy, with this level, I don't think Chidi Njokuani is this like wizard on the feet where you can just keep his distance from Jared Gooden, piece him up, and easily win the 3 rounds. I think Chidi will probably go for a knockout himself. I think Jared Gooden's got a few good shots in him, like even if he's sloppy, like an overhand right can land on anyone at any moment, especially in a fight like this, especially on Chidi Njokuani. I wouldn't put money on this, but if I had to pick one of these two, if I was to put money on someone, I'd put it on Jared Gooden just because I think he's the underdog and like you have enough of a chance with him winning. But you'll see. I've picked Chidi Njokuani because I think he's going to win this fight. Simple as that. Let's keep going. Let's get this card rolling. Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. I have some notes here. Because okay, my note just says Grant Dawson for some reason. Okay, I'm going with Grant Dawson in this fight. I think he's a better wrestler of the two. Obviously, I think Garcia could be dangerous from the bottom position, but I think Grant Dawson can just hold him there. Like, the style of Grant Dawson is not to like ground and pound you, you know, 10-8 you or anything like that. He got caught by Bobby Green, I understand. That was a 1 in 10 chance. I'm not saying that, no, Bobby Green could probably beat him more than just 1 in 10 times, but in this scenario, I think that was probably the 1 in 10 chance that the fight ends there where it did, with Bobby Green knocking him out. I don't see Rafa Garcia having that kind of knockout precision and power. Grant Dawson is bouncing back recently with a win off someone whose name I'm forgetting right now, but he did just recently win. Joe Selecki, is that who it was? No, it wasn't Joe Selecki. Who was it? Was it Joe Selecki? It might have been. Let's find out. No one cares anyway about this card. I mean, I care about this card, but let's be honest, most people that are watching this video are like hardcore fans. They're like really hardcore, because like I see my views, like I know, I have no delusion about how many people watch me. Let's see. Why am I doing this for Grant Dawson? Who cares? It was Joe Selecki anyway. Fuck. Anyway, so Joe Selecki was the dude that he beat. I think he'll do the same thing to Rafa Garcia. Control him. Be boring. Hold him against the cage. We saw what that leads to. We just saw Jose Aldo lose. Damage doesn't matter apparently, even though I bet you if anything, if Rafa lands like a couple of good shots, they'll give him the fight just because they hate Grant Dawson and he will never ever be entertaining, and I can see why they hate him. It's sad because Grant Dawson went through like 7 or 8 fights without losing, got to Bobby Green and then slipped on the banana peel, and now he's gonna have to beat Rafa Garcia and probably one more dude before he can get back into like looking at anyone in the top 15. So I hope he gets it done. I have money on him. He's part of my 2-leg parlay. Just a small one, $50. Well, not like a small win. $50. $50 is a lot of money, let's be honest here. And I don't make that much money. I just like put so much into this. Like, you might think that I'm rich. I have nothing, really. Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. Alex Morono is shit. There was a point in my time where I called him default and I liked him because he looked like such a default character. Now I look at Alex Morono and I think a loser. Like, you lost to Niko Price, you fucking bum. You know what I mean? Like, Niko Price, you cannot be losing to, like, old-ass Niko Price. Daniel Rodriguez, he's coming off a loss himself against Kelvin Gastelum. I think that fight went, like, 29-28 or something like that. It was a close fight. Good striking from Daniel Rodriguez. In general, he's got good striking. The only problem is he's 37 years old. He's an older man. Morono isn't the youngest dude, but he's younger of the two. I don't see Morono at that next level. I think Rodriguez got better striking. And he's not coming off a loss to Niko Price. If anything, I think Daniel Rodriguez would smoke Niko Price. Well, not smoke him, you know, like beat him decisively enough to where it's not a conversation that if they had a rematch, like, it could go either way. Alex Morono just got chinned by Niko Price. I understand that he got caught. I don't care. I'm picking against him. He's lost a fair few of his last few fights as well. Daniel Rodriguez is going to be the pick. And he did rob Li Jingliang, but he did go toe-to-toe with him. That was like 2 years ago. I think Daniel Rodriguez is still good. I don't think Alex Morono is. The pick will be Daniel Rodriguez. No money on that one. Abdul, Razak, Alhassan. ARA. And Josh Fremd. Let's see. ARA is old. He's old. Like, he's 39 years old. I understand that Cody Brundaged, like, he was destroying Cody Brundage and hit him in the back of the head, and Cody Brundage quit. Not quit, but he got hurt. Cody Brundage isn't, like, a warrior, in my opinion. I've seen him fight. He's a pussy. Josh Fremd, on the other hand, is also a pussy in some ways, but he will make a fight boring, but he can win fight based on how boring they are. Like, I expect that he would wrestle ARA. I know I saw the interview where he said, I didn't see the I read about it. I'm not watching Josh Fremd interviews. I read about Josh Fremd's interview, and he said that he was going to strike with our ARA. I don't understand why. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. I think ARA struggles with wrestling and grappling. Josh Fremd isn't the highest level of grappler, but if he wants to take you down, he can take you down. Like he did against that other guy from, like, Street Brawls and stuff like that. You know that guy? Like, he had dreads. If you know, you know. He took him down. I once lost money on betting on the guy with the dreads. I'm forgetting his name again. To Josh Fremd. I think he'll win. I think he'll wrestle. I don't think he's going to go out there and brawl with ARA. That'd be the dumbest thing ever if I saw it. And if he loses doing that, I think he should get cut. Or maybe they won't cut him just because it's like an exciting knockout. Then we might want to feed him to someone else. Screw Josh Fremd. But he'll win, and I have money on him. And the money is $50 on Josh Fremd. He is the pick. These names get trickier and trickier to pronounce as we go along. Ramazonabek Temirov versus CJ Vergara. Now, hear me out. I think CJ Vergara struggles with wrestling and takedowns. I've seen none of this dude, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I haven't seen any of this dude, but he's a part of my parlay, if you can believe it or not. He just looks like the guy that you give to CJ Vergara on your debut so you can beat him. I think he'll destroy him. I think he'll probably wrestle. I think I've seen some people talk about how he's a good wrestler, apparently. I expect that, and I think CJ Vergara is coming off a loss. I'm not going to go through a long thing. Let me see if I've written it down. Asu Albayev. I swear, like, here's the thing, right? When I see these names, like, in front of me, like, now that I'm started a YouTube channel, I'm talking to a camera, I never pronounce these names, like, out loud. I just read them, like, I'm saying, like, you know, that name looks pronounceable when you just read it. But when you start saying it, it's just, like, words just start coming out of my mouth. Anyway, I think he struggled with, wrestling before. I think he'll struggle again here. He'll get defeated. He's part of my two-leg multi. Boom. Ramazonbek Temirov. I'm speeding through this card today because I don't have all the time in the world. I have to get this video done and rendered and uploaded in a couple of little hours. So I'm going to have to go somewhere. So this is happening. Jonathan Pierce versus Pat Sabatini. I had some notes for this. I think these two will grapple, just to start off with, before even looking at any of my notes. I think Jonathan Pierce will probably... Here's the thing. Pat Sabatini is the underdog. I thought Jonathan Pierce might be the underdog in this fight. Pat Sabatini got good submissions, good jiu-jitsu in general. I think he could submit Jonathan Pierce. I just don't think Jonathan Pierce is going to let him. I think he's going to put the pressure on him, stuff some takedowns. I think Jonathan Pierce is the better fighter on the feet, and I think his grappling is kind of like, it's not the worst grappling in the world, you know what I mean? I think he'll piece up Pat Sabatini on the feet, break him, and then finish him off in the third round. Simple as that. I don't think Pat Sabatini... And Pat Sabatini also lost to Diego Lopez. No shame in losing to Diego Lopez. Like, Jonathan Pierce would get destroyed by Diego Lopez himself. Yeah, but I understand that Jonathan Pierce has been taken down. I just don't think it will happen here against Pat Sabatini. I don't gotta have any money on it. I would have put money on this if he was the underdog, but he's not. That's my pick. And this fight, I had money on Chris Barnett because such a massive underdog, and I think both the Tafa bros are just complete dog shit, like vermin. Like, they make the sport look so terrible. Like Junior Tafa, I was in the crowd when he lost to Walter, that Walter fella, and he screamed like a bitch, and then he acted like a cunt afterwards. Like, he screamed like a bitch, got submitted because the ref was like, okay, you're screaming a bit too loud. Let me get your panties out of there. And then right afterwards, he slaps Walter in the face just to play up being a tough guy because everyone was booing him, Walter. And so he just wanted to slap him in the face even though he tapped out like a bitch from his mouth. So fuck the Tafas. I know Chris Barnett has pulled out of this fight. He's been replaced by some dude from the regionals who apparently... I saw a picture of him and I was like, yeah. And the betting odds seem to think Junior Tafa's going to win. So just based on that, I'm not even going to make a pick for this fight because I think Tafa's a shit. I think I would bet on anyone that fight them because I think they're both garbage. They're both dog shit. They're both like the bottom of the bottom in terms of the division. I think Tafa himself, Junior Tafa himself, I think he's the worst of the two. So I would definitely put money against him if Chris Barnett was in the fight. I understand Chris Barnett is old, but Junior Tafa is really, really, really shit. And I hate the Tafas. I think they make the sport look really terrible. Like, anyone can do it. Like, just be big boned, come into the sport at heavyweight. You're a contender. That's basically what they represent. And I think the only reason the UFC hasn't cut them is because they take fights on short notice. Everyone agrees with me. I think I've seen this on the internet all the time. I think so as well. And the other reason is because since they're both brothers, if one is succeeding in their careers, the other one can't be cut. Because you know how it's like awkward. Like, you go to like a Thanksgiving dinner, and then one of the kids is like, where's Uncle Billy? And then all of a sudden it's really awkward talking about how Uncle Billy has relapsed back into his heroin addiction. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the conversation you want to have when you're at like a Thanksgiving table. That's what the Tafas are. They can't get rid of one of them because the other one, it'll be just too awkward. You know what I mean? If it's too awkward, one of them is gone, the other one's still there. Weird energies. I'm sure the energy doesn't want to like deal with it. I'm sure he just wants to cut them both at the same time, eventually when he's done with them. They have fun fights, but I hate them both. Fuck the Tafas. No prediction for this fight. He'll probably win. I'll be rooting against him because I hate him. And the guy he's fighting, to be fair, is no better. Like, hopefully we see the first ever double KO where both their careers just end right there. It's a double retirement. Themba Gorimbo versus Niko Price. I'm going with Themba Gorimbo. No doubt about it. Niko Price, Alex Morono's chin is probably not all there right now. It's not fully there. Niko Price, I think, got one win over Alex Morono and now has been put on this card. And honestly, I think he's been... Can't stop burping. And anyway, I think he's being fed to Themba Gorimbo in this fight. There's nothing else to say. I'm not expecting this huge war in this fight. I'm expecting Gorimbo to double leg Niko Price to the ground or grappling with him, take him down to the ground, and then finish him on the ground in the second or third round. It's that simple. I'm not expecting Niko Price to have this high-level jiu-jitsu off his back or have some knockout power on, like, while Themba like entering in. Simple. I just don't think Niko Price is all that anymore. Because, I mean, my memory is so shot right now. He ate that loss to Robbie Lawler, yeah, in his retirement fight. It's just not there. Like, Robbie Lawler was old and washed up. Brian Barberina KO'd him. Niko Price, you got KO'd by him. Then he KOs Alex Morono, which makes no sense whatsoever. Themba will finish him off. I'm not using MMA math. I'm just saying, like, there's a level you are, and I'm not, and like, let me put it this way, right? You would never pick Niko Price to beat Leon Edwards. Even though you'd be like, oh, MMA math, Leon Edwards beating him. You know, Colby Covington, let's say. Colby Covington beat Robbie Lawler. He lost to Colby. What's the point I'm trying to make? I'm just saying, like, MMA math doesn't work, but I just think Niko Price is such a low level, like, anyone above a certain level would beat him, and I think Themba is on that level. That's what I wanted to say. The pick is going to be Themba. Easy peasy. We move on to Dan Argueta versus Cody Haddon. I've only seen one fight of Cody Haddon. I think he's a striker. I saw somewhere that he said he wants to keep the fight on the feet. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's making his debut as well on top of everything else. Dan Argueta is proven in the division, I suppose so. I don't know why I'm sounding so unconfident. Cody Haddon, I think he's Australian, so no bias here. I'm picking against him. I'm in Australia. I would want the Australian fighters to do well. He's not someone I think he's going to win this fight. I do have money on this fight. Let me find some other notes that I had. I think Dan is going to grapple with him. That's just the story of this card, isn't it? Like, I'm picking the guys that will grapple with you and take you down and control you there and then finish you off on the ground potentially even. Except for the main event. I've gone the other way on that one. I'm expecting Dan Argueta to win. I've just not seen enough of Cody Haddon to really break down this fight. Dan Argueta, good fighter. I think he's good. I think he'll win this fight. I put money on it just because I think Cody Haddon saying that he wants to keep the fight on the feet is quite concerning. Like, how good is your... Like, it's probably really... unless his takedown defense is so elite that he can keep the fight on the feet. But I think he's just more so hoping that the fight stays on the feet. And I'm expecting that. I think Haddon's a good fighter, probably. Only see one fight of him. Keep it on the feet. Looked good. Then Argueta, I think he's a better grappler. I think in these kind of scenarios, we don't know too much about the opposing opposing fighter, you go with the grappler. You go with the guy with the more variety in his game. I'm going with Argueta. He's the underdog as well, so I did put money on him, $50. I think he'll win. Simple. But I will say this though, the Australians, and I'm proud of this, but the Australians are really good at takedown defense, and I don't know if this is the case here. It might be. We just don't know yet. Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. I believe both of them haven't fought in a while, have they? God, what have I written down here? To be honest, this is a coin flip. Like, I have no clue who's going to win this fight. They're both coming off. I don't know who's going to win. I have not seen enough of either of these fighters to make a prediction on this. And that doesn't sound right for, like, a predictions video specifically. But I'm not going to lie to you guys and ask you to put money on something that I don't believe you should put money on. I just don't... I think I just went with Clayton Carpenter just because I think I saw some highlights of his. But really, like, that's the prediction. Clayton Carpenter. I would put money on this. I genuinely just wouldn't put money on this, guys. Where are my notes? I should have structured them in an order. Fuck it. Now, I know I'm going to go against everything I said, but I think Cory McKenna is the better grappler of the two fighters. I do think so. But she has such a massive reach disadvantage, and I just couldn't overlook the fact that her massive reach disadvantage was such a factor. And then she has lost a couple of fights in the last few as well. She has been submitted. I don't think Julia Polastri is the most elite jiu-jitsu practitioner of all time. I'm not saying that, but I think she has a massive reach advantage. I think she can keep her at the distance, break her down, and it will be a decision no matter which way it goes. It just depends on if Cory McKenna is going to take down Julia Polastri or not. I just don't know about this fight, to be honest, either. I would go with grapplers, but it's a women's fight. You never know. They're a bit more bounce to them. I want Julia Polastri. But I will say this, though. The last two fights that I've broken down, if you can't tell by my voice, I'm not confident in at all. Like, I kind of just went off memory with the last two fights just because there was only so much time in the world where I did some tape study for the top 6 fights, like the main card, and then obviously I knew some stuff about some of the fighters lower down, like Niko, Price, and Themba. But the last two fighters, I mean, I'll watch them this weekend, or if you guys are going to watch the live stream. I guess that's a plug for the live stream. I wouldn't put too much stock in it. It is what it is. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The pick is Julia Polastri. The last two fights, don't take my word for it. Pick someone else. Watch someone else with their breakdown. I think that's probably the best for you guys. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe. Let's give me to 20 subscribers. I'm almost there. Let's go.